Mm. Mm. Okay.
I spent quite the time setting up this goddamn setup for you. Trying to set up this perfect angle, trying to set up this perfect red screen, this perfect, this thing down here. It's just a book. It's just a nice book that I've been reading. I have another book over here that I'm reading as well, which is a little bit more involved. It's, Animation Unleashed. Yeah, you get the idea. Spock, who's that new raptor guy that is taking our spot?
I don't know, man, but we got our own shit to do, so.
Today, we're doing a review. I'm doing a great, delicious review. I have my pointer points right here in front of me. I know you're all here to watch me review Sleepykinq, because that's what I put in the title. But we're gonna have to review one person first, so we're gonna have to review someone else first. Different animation, different animator. Here we have an animation. We have an animation called Breathing by Yoongi. I believe that's how you pronounce the name. I first feasted my eyes upon it. I knew it was a good candidate for the review. So we're gonna watch this right now. Oh hey, it's a sleeping guy. They gotta get up, of course. They gotta get up and have their, bathroom time. I winked there. You couldn't really see it, but... He's about to brush his teeth, as humans do, and then he just kind of, starts bleeding out of his hands. As you do. Don't you just hate it when you start bleeding while brushing your teeth? Just straight at your hands. Don't you just hate it when you straight up just turn into a demon in your bathroom? It's such a struggle. I hate turning into a demon with 20-foot wings, just laying down on the tiles of my bathroom. I hate that so much. Well, I'm not quite sure what's going on here, but hey, it looks pretty good. Alright, so I read the description. This sucker took me 35 hours to make, not counting breaks. I wanted to make something original I can proudly show to others, and I honestly think I succeeded. Blah 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 blah. In short, he can't control his demonic side when he loses track of time. And here he is shown having a nightmare about suddenly turning. Oh, so it's a nightmare. That's why he wakes up twice. He is then shown being happy in the real world with his boyfriend. Okay, so it's a very simple story. There's no really deep-rooted meaning behind it. And, simple stories can be nice. Simple stories are pretty nice. But, and I like the fact that you didn't rely on dialogue to convey a story. Although, I had to rely on the description to understand what was going on. Which is something that's not a very good positive in animation. If you look at a lot of, professional, well-done things, animations without dialogue, there's a very clear message. And there's not that much confusion behind the message. And usually those messages are very beautiful. We're going to start off with what I like about this animation. It has good staging. There's nothing's too overwhelming about the animation. There's smooth line work. The line work isn't, fucking all over the damn place. It's nice. That's always nice. There's a good combination of frame-by-frame work and tweening work. So, it doesn't look like a jarbled mess. It has nice timing. It's an intriguing animation. And overall, it's an original piece. And, We can't go wrong with an original piece, am I right? It's better than an animation meme that has no creative value to it, other than the fact that you're drawing. Here, there are a couple things that could be done to improve this already good animation. And we're gonna talk about those right now. At the beginning, there is a zoom onto the bed. This zoom onto the bed, the background doesn't seem to zoom at the same pace as the character does, and it gives this really strange, like, it looks really off to me, the viewer. I would try to make the zoom, you know, zoom at the same time with the character so that it doesn't, like, your character doesn't appear to grow in size. The setting, you took the time to draw out the wall, the sink, the tubes, the toilets, not the toilet, but you took the time to draw out the sink, the mirror, all the, you know, cleaning supplies, toothpaste, toothbrush, whatever that is on the desk over there, or the shelving over there. But the background's still plain white. There really is no prominent setting in the animation, and that really helps remove from the kind of immersive effect. There's no sense of space in the 3D animation. You're gonna see that this is a common critique throughout the series, because a lot of people, their animations don't have a good grasp of 3D objects and 3D placement of their characters. A lot of them are done with, you know, layering, which is not a good way to draw in a 3D environment on a 2D landscape. I'm not sure if I said that exactly correctly, but you kind of get the idea. My critique would just be add more to the background, really. It's extra work, but it's extra work that's worth it. Right here, the frame where he's on his knees, and he's just kind of like, you know, in pain. His torso seems to have this really strange twisting to it. He's not down on his knees, you know, like an average person would be on his knees. He seems to be like twisting his back in a very uncomfortable position, and it just doesn't look right. I would recommend, you know, moving his bottom half of his body. Here's something that could have made the animation look nicer, right? How you're just having this weird static effect occur when you're pushing the transition of the character, instead of like maybe having that static effect, but also having some animation movement going on. For example, if when the claws appear on their hands, maybe you could have the claws retract out. Maybe do some tweening, some frame by frame. It's some extra work, but it'll look a lot better in the end. Trust me. So having the claws retract out, the spinal bones also just move outward so that it doesn't look like it's just instantly appearing out of nowhere. Here's a little thing about consistency. You showed all those frames before of him changing to the color black. His face turned black, his arms turned black, his hand turned black. But then here you have a frame where he's completely white, but he's slowly transitioning through this interesting color wipe effect. So were all those things happening a few seconds ago non-existent? Did those not happen? Or is this the true form? It's a little bit of inconsistency on your part. I would find a way to maybe fix that. I mean, I'm sure you had to have a filler for time. But you could have had something else, maybe a little bit of them on the ground shaking in blackness, because you didn't show the full transition yet. You could have showed even more of the transition here, instead of having a kind of lazily done just wipe into black effect. This effect hurts my eyes. This effect you gave the video. I have to turn away when I look at it. I think it's like, honestly, it looks like I should be wearing 3D glasses with this. I would take away that effect entirely. Okay, so I couldn't find 3D glasses. Other than that, it was pretty solid. I'm not gonna rate it because this is just a review. It's just a critique. There's no need to do a rating system. Unless, of course, you want a rating system, comment below. I'll pin a comment asking. But yeah, that was that. Moving on to the next animation. Hello. Now we're moving on to the next animation that was sent to me by my fans. Or should I say, friends. Sleepykinq. So, here we have Sleepykinq, the master of the English language.
Okay, let me show you. I didn't made up that.
Haha. In all seriousness, I think Sleepykinq is one of the best animators on this platform, really. And to have him come to me for a critique is honestly pretty awesome. I think he has a very good passion for improving his art, and that's why he's so good at what he does. He doesn't let his following get in the way of his improvement, and that's an admirable trait. So, we're going to review one of his animations he sent me. He wants me to review. Let's take a look. It's an animation called Claustrophobia. I used to have claustrophobia myself, so this will be pretty interesting. So let's begin with the animation right here, right now. Woo! So the animation starts off with a spaghetti noodle and mystery. Sleepykinq's character. Sleeping, it's not sleeping. What the fuck? Sitting with Mystery eating dinner. And I guess Mystery doesn't want to eat a salad or something. I don't know. We'll keep watching. Uh-oh. He dropped the thing. And he gets locked. Oh. Alright, cool. He gets put in a dark room. Ha! He has a toy doll that he plays with? He's got a stuffed animal? What a gay! Ah, I see. He took a photo of a dead animal and the tangled shoelace is looking at it. And he got locked in a room again. That's a long pause. Oh. And now he's horrifying. Great! Let's break this down, frame by frame. Obviously, this animation isn't a sense of a bunch of nonsense. There's obviously a message here being displayed, and I can tell that quite by the first glimpse of it, which is a good thing. It's a very good thing. It's clear to me that Mystery was growing up in a very abusive condition with his guardians or caregivers. Even if he were to do, say, the slightest mistake, he would be punished by being, say, locked in a basement or in his bedroom. Whatever, you pick your fancy. Basically, it's a bad way of growing up. I'm a huge fan of the subtle storytelling, so this animation already gets a plus from me because, you know, it's got a nice little storytelling aspect to it. So here's what I like about it. I like the storytelling. I said it before. I like the staging. Nothing's too fast-paced, nothing's too low-paced. Everything's just the right amount of staging. The structure of the art is also intact. There's nothing too rushed about the sketches. It looks like it's a finished piece. Obviously, there's a couple of, you know, moments where the lines are like all over the place and you can see them, but they're very minimal. You don't really notice them unless you zoom in really close. I like the smoothness of the animation. It's a very nice piece to watch. There was nothing really abrupt or jagged about it. It was a great combination of tweening and frame by frame. Let's talk about what can make this even better. Right off the bat of the beginning of the frame, you can already tell that Sleepy doesn't really have a very good grasp of a 3D environment, as I've said in the previous animation. The scene of the people at the kitchen table looks like a layered photo. It's a perfect side view, which is a very strange occurrence. What could be done to help improve that is to maybe draw your characters more in 3D space. Use 3D shapes to sketch out your characters so that you can place them a lot more easily on, say, a grid, a 3D grid. You could, in a setting, draw a bunch of grids to help place your character throughout the frame. So you know how to make, to make them bigger, you know to make them smaller. You know how to make them taller, shorter, skinnier, longer. Pretty much just use a lot of grids. Your art style, Sleepy, seems to be very limited. What I'm trying to say is your character looks like a 2D plane. It looks like it's part of a 2D plane when you really want it to look like it's part of a 3D plane. Squash and stretch could be implemented a little bit more in this specific section of the video right here, where the little tomato falls down. I'd say you could have a little bit more squishiness on the tomato to really emphasize when it lands. It'll add a little bit more, say, flow. It'll make it look like the tomato isn't a goddamn bowling ball. Another thing this animation could improve, since it's a very story-driven animation, you could call attention to the story a little bit more. For example, when Sleepy makes a mistake, have this tiny little animation where, say, it zooms in on the tied shoelace or the tangled shoelace, say, getting kind of angry, having a little bit of steam coming out of its head, or just like make it a really overly dramatic kind of like look at the tied shoelace to signify that Sleepy's being punished, instead of leaving it for us to just go, what the hell just happened there? I don't understand. Because you don't want people to be confused, right? You don't want people to be very confused when they watch the animation. You don't want people to be ending the animation going, what the heck did I just watch? That was so strange. So I just say have a little bit more conveyance of what's happening. Maybe have a little bit of that little tangled shoelace. Give that tangled shoelace a little bit more screen time, scolding Sleepy, or just kind of staring at him before locking him in the room. There are a couple of repetitive scenes. For example, when you have Sleepy get locked in the bedroom, basement, or whatever that is, you have him in the same position, in the same setting. Nothing really changes. You know what would really add a nice little story effect, like a nice little, you know what would really add a lot more life to it, and a lot more proof of passage of time, is to have things changing throughout the background of that one specific setting, or have Sleepy change positions. Maybe on the bed, in the corner, have the background get a lot more, make the background become more and more destroyed and rugged as he keeps being locked up in the room. Especially with that last one where he's in the corner. You could have had the beds ripped up. You could have had the bed ripped up. You could have had holes in the wall. There were just so many chances to help some staging effects, like you know, make the room look like and give off the vibe that you really wanted to. Go over the top until it becomes ridiculous. He gave me another animation to look at. It's titled a meme. I would pretty much gave the same critique art style wise or 3D plane drawing, but we'll watch this right now. We'll see.
Can't fake it, I'll just make it on my own. I can't blame them, I'll just name them on the throne. I can't fake it, I'll just make it on my own. I can't blame them, I've just got to get to my throne. I am the latest colors, I sing the newest songs.
Wow, that's pretty creepy. That's pretty creepy. That's pretty creepy. Oh, the book fell! Ah! So, what can I critique this for? I'd say this little Sleepy frame, you have a Sleepy just kind of sliding up into the view, you know? I think you could make that look so much cooler with maybe a little bit of like slight, say, leg animations from Sleepy, like maybe just like a little bit of a rocking movement. That would make him look pretty ominous. That would make him look pretty cool. That car jiggling is very strange. Unless you're going for this really strange artistic effect, cars don't jiggle at different paces. It's all one object. Cars don't have this really strange physics to them that cause the back of the car to jiggle at a different... It's not made of rubber, basically. The back of the car doesn't jiggle at a different rate as the front of the car. I really do like your stuff, Sleepy. I really do. That'll do it for this video. I think maybe kind of, sort of, short of... Give me my book bag. But yeah, that was I'll just put this on here. That was the review. Hope you all enjoyed, maybe kind of, sort of, shorta, borta. And, well, I don't know what else to say. Good luck.